gardening season and it's cold again today.
Welcome back to Southwestern Ontario, Canada, here at Simple Acre Homestead, where now it feels like -2.
Yay.
But we're not gonna let that stop us.
No, it's the weekend. This is our day to get things done.
Yeah, this week we've been focused on getting our raised beds built. We ordered them off of Amazon. They're nothing fancy, they're just cheap, but we want to try it.
Yeah, I am very excited about it. This area back here, we are not going to put any raised beds on because there are things I want to put straight into the ground: tomatoes, peppers, green beans. But there is a lot that I would like to try in the raised beds, the root vegetables and other things that I'd like to trellis and climb.
We have really good luck with things that don't grow in the ground. The clay, once something establishes, it seems to flourish, like tomatoes and things like that, do very well here in our soil. But our carrots come out like...
Yeah, if you guys know anything about clay, you know you get a dry spell and it is just like rock.
Yeah, it gets pretty bad. So yeah. Our thought was we'd do a bunch of raised beds, and this year I get some carrots and beets and all the things I don't usually get to have unless I buy it in the store, and I hate doing that. So
yeah. It's exciting to try something new. We've tried a few different methods, but I'm really hopeful for this one.
Yeah. Cindy's going to show you what we got going here, and then we're going to get to work.
So in total, we are going to end up with 10 raised beds, and Bert also got a really good deal on cattle panels, which I think he's mentioned before. And we've created a couple of arched trellises. So I'm hoping to put like cucumbers in one, maybe squash in another. But this is just really fun, and I can just imagine when there's green growing all over it. I just love it. So we have those two, a couple more over here with our second arched trellis. And then we just have some other raised beds that we may put some pieces of cattle panel to trellis as well, but we're still talking about that. And then these last 4 that Bert ordered, we decided to go with a square shape, just for something a little different. Over here, I have already started planting some greens, which, looking back, I would have put in the raised beds, but I planted them before we had them. And there's actually some sprouting happening. Here we have spinach started. A little hard to see, but it is definitely coming up. Next we have kale, which is coming up nicely. Some simple lettuce. I just put in a bunch of different varieties. Swiss chard. You don't see a lot of sprouts yet, but there are a few. Here we have a row of beet mosh, so another green, just starting to sprout as well. Bok choy that normally does really well here. There's a few sprouts coming up. We have a green mix here, so just types of lettuce, and that is coming up nicely as well. And last but not least, we have arugula. So even though it's still cold and a little too early to put a lot of things in the ground, it's really nice to see just a few things coming up. We're hoping to, eat more salads this year and just get a little healthier all the time. And this is a good start. Next year, I will be putting these things in raised beds. Maybe even this year, I'll do some more. So our honeyberries or haskellapes are flowering nicely. And that's a great sign. They are looking a lot better than they looked last year. In these raised beds that were the hog feeders taken apart, I've already planted these with garlic, so beets. And I think you saw in the last video, 2 are with onions.
So what's happening here, as Cindy already mentioned and we talked about briefly, was that we're using these cattle panels as trellises. I picked them up really cheap, and it's going to work out very well. Right now, I'm going to get these T-posts down to about this level, and I'm going to put some wire on, tie them in place so they don't go anywhere. I'm going to start putting some branches and chicken manure in the bottom portion of these raised beds. For one reason, we had a big windstorm recently and we got some branches kicking around, so we might as well get rid of them and do the next compost. And I really need to get the chicken coop cleaned out, so I'm kind of using that as well as a way to get that work done. Also, believe it or not, dirt is very expensive. So when we go to pick up a yard of soil, we're spending between $40 and $50. And if we don't put anything on the bottom, one of these raised beds will basically use up that whole yard. So we're doing about half and filling the rest with dirt, and we'll just let nature do its thing, and we'll compost it. Should still work out pretty well. I don't see why there would be an issue with that. So, and as things settle, we'll just add some rabbit manure. We'll separate, keep the rabbit by itself, and top things up a little bit, let it seep down. So if everything goes well, then we hope it will, we'll see a big difference this year. But yeah, it's hard to predict the future. So got a lot of beds to fill here, so I want to get this in place so I can get working on it today. So back at it.